Halloween night had come early in the small town of Hollow Creek. An eerie, unnatural chill filled the air, making streetlights flicker and casting unsettling shadows through twisted branches. The townsfolk knew something felt off, but chose to ignore the creeping dread. It was tradition, after all, to pretend everything was fine. Diana had returned home late from work, her breath visible in the strange October mist. Approaching her front porch, she froze, heart pounding. There, right on her doorstep, sat a massive pumpkin, larger than any she'd ever seen. Its grotesque carved face stared up at her, mouth twisted into a cruel, jagged grin. "Hello?" she called nervously, her voice swallowed by the fog. Silence replied. Shaking off the unease, Diana nudged the pumpkin aside with her foot. Its thick skin was oddly warm, pulsing gently beneath her touch. She jumped back, startled. Suddenly, the jack-o'-lantern's empty eyes ignited, blazing a sickly, unnatural orange. Diana screamed, stumbling backward, as the pumpkin cracked open, spilling dark, viscous fluid across the porch. From within, something shifted and crawled, a tangle of shadowy limbs, emerging like spiders. Turning in terror, she ran inside, slamming and locking the door behind her. She rushed to the window, peering out. The pumpkin was gone, but the porch was covered in that foul, dark liquid. She reached for her phone. Dead. Lights flickered, plunging the house into darkness. Panic surged. Outside, heavy footsteps dragged through leaves, slow and deliberate. "Who's there?" she yelled, her voice cracking. A distorted, echoing laugh answered from every direction. Windows shattered around her. Pumpkin heads crashed through, rolling across the floor, their jagged mouths opening wide, releasing dark, wriggling tendrils that clawed toward her. Diana sprinted up the stairs, barricading herself in her bedroom. A scratching began, soft at first, then louder, frantic, violent, at the bedroom door. She grabbed a baseball bat, clutching it desperately. The door burst open, splinters flying. There stood a grotesque figure, its body human-like, but its head a monstrous pumpkin. Eyes aflame, mouth dripping with black ooze. It stepped forward, tendrils writhing from its jagged grin, reaching for her. "It's time," it growled, voice guttural and rasping, "for Hollow Creek to pay." Diana swung wildly, but the creature was too quick, grabbing her wrist with impossible strength. Its touch burned like acid. It leaned close, its pumpkin mouth opening wider and wider. Outside, screams filled the night air as more pumpkin-headed figures emerged from shadows, marching steadily into town. Houses burst into flames, doors shattered, chaos erupting everywhere. The pumpkin-faced creature laughed again, sinister and hollow. "You invited us," it whispered. "Now reap your harvest." Diana's screams joined the chorus, echoing throughout Hollow Creek, as darkness consumed the town, leaving only silence, and the eerie, satisfied glow of countless pumpkin heads flickering in the night. It's flickering in the night. It's flickering in the night. It started with the air. Since her husband's death in late March, Hadley noticed a strange shimmering in the twilight, like the world was wrapped in glass. She told herself it was grief, sleeplessness. But tonight, something was different. Before the sun was fully down, she saw headlights turning into her driveway. Her chest tightened. She didn't remember inviting anyone. Then she recalled Anton Krupev said he might drop by. She stepped outside, the cold biting. A figure stumbled from the truck, tall, thin, swaying like a scarecrow, and on his shoulders, a pumpkin. A real one. A grotesque jack-o'-lantern head, grinning darkly, its hollow eyes staring straight at her. "Ma'am," a voice rasped from inside the gourd, heavily accented, distorted. Hadley backed away instinctively. The pumpkin twisted as Anton lurched closer, the grin seeming to widen. She forced a laugh. "A Halloween joke," she thought, trembling. Except it wasn't Halloween. Not yet, for you, Anton said, yanking the pumpkin off. His face was red, sweaty, and there were pumpkin seeds tangled in his hair. He shoved the gutted, sticky pumpkin into her arms. It was heavy, unnaturally warm. She recoiled, almost dropping it. "Bring inside," Anton urged, smiling oddly. "Please." Against her instincts, Hadley stepped back into the house, the pumpkin pressed to her chest. It pulsed. She almost thought she could feel it breathing. Anton followed without being asked, muddy boots stomping over the threshold. Inside, the lights flickered. Once, twice. Hadley gasped. "Old house," Anton said, but his voice was wrong. Low, guttural, almost mocking. She set the pumpkin on the kitchen counter. Immediately it oozed a thick, dark liquid. Not pumpkin juice. Something darker, almost black. "What is this?" she whispered. Anton tilted his head. "Gift. For you." Hadley turned to tell him to leave, but Anton was already too close. He reeked of something foul. Spoiled meat and wet earth. His hands shot out, grabbing her wrists. "You need friend," he hissed. "Crossing over time." The phrase made her blood run cold. She'd thought it herself. This is the crossing over. When staring into the twilight, she struggled, pulling free. Anton lunged, knocking over the pumpkin. It shattered on the floor, with a sickening wet sound, spilling seeds and something else. Small, white, wriggling things onto the tile. Screaming, Hadley grabbed a kitchen knife. Anton hesitated, eyes wide, confused, then furious. "You called me," he shrieked. "You looked into the dark. You wanted this," he charged. Hadley slashed blindly, nicking his arm. He roared in pain, swinging at her. She ducked, scrambling toward the door. He grabbed her ankle. She kicked, striking his chin. Panting, she made it to the porch. Behind her, Anton staggered through the shattered doorway, blood dripping from his arm and mouth. His teeth were stained dark, like he'd bitten into something rotten. Headlights again. The truck, still running, engine growling low. Hadley sprinted across the yard, barefoot, stones cutting into her feet. Behind her, Anton's heavy footsteps pounded closer. She risked a glance back and froze. It wasn't Anton chasing her anymore. It was the pumpkin head. Hollow eyes blazing with a sickly orange glow. Twisted smile stretching wider than physics should allow. It floated above the ground, seeds and black fluid trailing like smoke. Hadley screamed and ran faster. To the road, to the world, to light, to anything. Branches clawed at her face, tearing skin and hair. The wind rose suddenly, shrieking in her ears. All around, trees creaked and groaned, shadows stretching impossibly toward her. She stumbled and fell, rolling painfully across gravel. Struggling to her feet, she realized she was in the middle of the road. Headlights flashed around a bend ahead. A car, she thought. Safety. She waved her arms wildly, screaming for help. The vehicle slowed, stopped. Doors opened. Familiar figures stepped out, but their faces were hidden. Masked by grotesque pumpkin heads, identical to Anton's. They surrounded her silently. Hadley backed away, heart hammering wildly. "Join us?" They whispered as one. Their voices echoed unnaturally, blending into a single chilling harmony. She turned, intending to flee, but Anton was there, Pumpkinhead glowing malevolently, blocking her escape. "You asked for this," he said, his voice resonant and otherworldly. "You crossed over." The figures drew closer, encircling her, their glowing pumpkin faces casting ghastly shadows. Hadley's screams echoed through the darkening forest until there was only silence. Above the empty road, a faint shimmering lingered, like the world wrapped in glass, wrapped in glass, wrapped in glass, wrapped in glass.